After heavy rains, winds, and even a slight delay, it is finally match day here in the Summit City. We got a big matchup on deck between the top two teams in the USL League 2's Valley Division. And hello from Bishop Darcy Stadium. Side of tonight's showdown between Fort Wayne FC and Cleveland Force SC. Alongside Luca Moda, I'm Josh A. And Luca. Fort Wayne on an absolute tear this season. Still undefeated, 8 matches in. They are 6-0-2, including winning 4 of their last 5 matches. They're currently in the driver's seat right now to win the Valley Division with 3 weeks to go.
Yeah, hello Josh, a pleasure to be here with you today. Ahead of us, a great game, an exciting game, as you mentioned, the first against the second in the Valley Division, so the games don't get much bigger than this. Both teams fighting for the first position. Fort Wayne FC entering the field today with the opportunity to clinch a position in the playoffs for the first time in their history. So I'm very excited for this game, and I'm pretty sure that we are going to have a great game here for the fans that are still with us, even though we had a terrible rain here in the last minutes. The fans stayed here, and I'm sure they are going to be gifted with a great game.
Without question, let's take a look at the top of the table right now. Fort Wayne FC, as you mentioned, Luca, atop the table with 20 points. They have played 8 of their 12 regular season matches. Meanwhile, Cleveland Force SC, they have 12 points, currently sitting in second place right now. They too have played 8 matches with a 3-2-3 record.
Please stand, remove any hats you may be wearing, for the singing of our national anthem, sung by the Fort Wayne.
Following the national anthem, we'll get your key players to watch and all set for kickoff right here on 11 Sports. And welcome back to Bishop Darcy Stadium, side of today's USL League 2 Valley Division match between Fort Wayne FC and Cleveland Force SC. Again, alongside Luca Moda, I'm Josh A. And let's take a look at some of the key players to watch for both sides. We begin with the visitors, Cleveland Force. Luca, this team, the best scoring team in the Valley Division, 22 goals this season. It's all led by Cole Peretti, number 6. He is the midfielder, 5'11". You've also got Cole Worthmuller playing that 9 spot. Pretty hard to miss him. Those are 2 of the top strikers for this Cleveland team.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Cole Peretti is the leader for this team. He scored already 5 goals in the USL 2 this season. One of the guys that scored most goals in the whole USL this season. Also, Cole Worthmiller, 3 goals scored in the USL 2. Scored 3 goals already, in the USL 2. But I would also like to highlight Gavin Caesar that scored in the last 2 games, 3 goals in the last 2 games. So I think these 3 guys are the main players for Cleveland, and Fort Wayne FC must keep an eye on them.
There's a look at Fort Wayne FC wearing their home blue kit. A couple of guys to keep an eye on offensively, at least for this Fort Wayne FC squad. You've got Alexander Mihov. He has recently joined this squad, making an instant impact already. Already 2 assists on this early season. Meanwhile, we've got Heis Hovius already joining the team mid-season as well, but man, he has made an instant impact. 3 goals this season, all of them coming in a win against the Dayton Dutch Lions.
Yeah, these guys are leading Fort Wayne FC attack today. As you mentioned, Mihov was very, very good in his debut, the last game that Fort Wayne FC fans could watch him. And Heis Hovius leading the team in goal contributions with 3 goals and 3 assists. These guys are on fire.
There's a look at Hovius. So we're just about set for kickoff here at Bishop Darcy Stadium, as we mentioned. Fort Wayne in their home blue kits, while Cleveland Force is wearing their road white kits. As we mentioned, critical matchup today in the Valley Division. Fort Wayne FC can basically lock up a playoff spot with a win tonight, inch themselves closer to winning the Valley Division with a win. And we are underway in a battle of the top 2 teams in the Valley Division. This Fort Wayne FC squad heavy on possession, and so is Cleveland Force. Luca, we had a chance to catch up with both sides. The head coach for Fort Wayne FC, Mike Avery, really crediting this Cleveland Force team with being able to counter well in the first matchup earlier this season. That was a 2-2 draw. Fort Wayne was actually on the brink of losing their first regular season match until a goal in the 89th minute by the captain, Reed Sproat.
Yeah, as you said, we can see here today the 2 best teams in the Valley Division. Great game, great first game they had on last May, and with Fort Wayne FC scoring, tying the game with Reed Sproat in the last minute of the game. So like we can expect great things here today. As we can see already on the field, Fort Wayne FC with the traditional 4-3-3 that they've been playing, and Cleveland Force playing a 4-1-4-1, trying to counterattack when they have the opportunity.
Takeaway. Here comes Cleveland Force with their first sustained possession. Cross in, headed away, and here comes Fort Wayne with a chance to counter. Now on a bit of a miscommunication between Tom Abramson and Alexander Mihov, and it'll be a Cleveland throw-in. David Kolar will be the man to throw it in. Crossed in and right to the boots of Ari Briscoe. Speaking of which, welcome back, Ari. He's been out the last few months, last few matches, as he's been playing for the Puerto Rican national team, but this Fort Wayne FC squad doing a great job of keeping a shutout streak intact while Briscoe has been out. Shafiq Wilson doing an excellent job in net.
Yeah, this defensive solitude is being one of the key things that's making Fort Wayne FC be so successful this season, and Briscoe is part of this.
Cross in, dangerous chance, and off the boot of a Cleveland player, so that will result in our first corner kick of the night. Great cross right there by Tom Abramson. You had a man there lurking, and the first serious chance for Fort Wayne is on deck. It looks like Mihov will be the one to take this corner kick. Rather, that is going to be Rodrigo Parafita. 8 men towards the top of the box. Backside, headed away by Cleveland on the ricochet. Alex Frank with a good chance, but that goes out of bounds for a goal kick. Alex Frank, one of those returning guys for this Fort Wayne FC team. Mike Avery crediting really the veteran returning players for this Fort Wayne team for all the success they've had so far this season. Alex Frank being one of them. We mentioned Abramson's name a couple of times already. Reed Sproat. Those guys have certainly set the tone this season and have been a big reason why Fort Wayne has enjoyed their best season so far in USL League 2 play. That one booted away by Grant Glorioso of Cleveland, and that'll be out of bounds for a throw-in. Quick throw-in, here's Frank. Switch it up to Abramson. Now play back to Thiago Diaz. Comes that pressure that Cleveland was mentioning. Something when we talked with Coach Blake New, he mentioned that his squad likes to build their attack from the back line. They too are very very possession-heavy team, but they had to play out of their element in the first matchup with Fort Wayne. And a big reason why they found some success was on the counterattack. Here's a chance, and Glorioso having to come far out of his post to scoop that up. With Sean Karani swooping in, and Glorioso had to slide in to make another save.
Josh, it's only the first minutes of the game. We didn't even reach to the 5th minute of the game, but we can already see a pattern here, like Fort Wayne building, keeping the ball as they always do, but Cleveland Force kind of adapting to Fort Wayne FC, not keeping the ball as they like to do, defending a little bit in a low block and looking for opportunities to counterattack. We can see a 4-1, 4-1 with the number 6, Cole Carrete, between the lines, defending low and trying to be a threat for Fort Wayne in the counterattacks.
One thing that can really play in Fort Wayne FC's hand today is the number of goals that Cleveland has conceded. There, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Cleveland, the best scoring team in the Valley Division, but they've given up their fair share of goals. Maybe one right here! And just like that, Fort Wayne FC on the board quickly. It's Heis Hovius with his 4th goal of the season.
What a goal, this guy deserves it. First goal that he scored in front of the fans, he scored 3 in a hat-trick in the game, away from home. And as we can see here, it's Heis Hovius again running behind the last line. Great pass from Thiago Diaz, finding him behind the last line. And he was composed and stroked the ball with the left foot to find the back of the net. Great goal for Heis Hovius. Fort Wayne FC starting the game on the best way possible.
As we said, a huge matchup on deck today. You can't start off any better than this. A goal in the 6th minute by Heis Hovius. And just like that, Fort Wayne FC off to a 1-0 lead. Coach Mike Avery having nothing but high praise for one of his newest acquisitions, calling him the missing piece to this attack. You see why, because throughout the season, Coach Avery thought this team has been able to attack well on the flanks. Hovius really creating some scoring opportunities in the center of the pitch, and you just saw that on that last score.
Yeah, this guy is so aggressive. He's going to give options for the midfielders, for defenders all the time. He's a nightmare to the opposite team defense. He's going to run in behind. He's going to look for options, shoot with the left, shoot with the right. So like, he's so aggressive and gives so many options for the guys that are playing behind him. As we could see, like Thiago Diaz with a defender could see him running and made a great pass, an amazing pass to find him in front of the keeper.
Another aspect of Hovius too was the fact that he was just making so many good plays in practice, really helping out his team as well, but the goals weren't coming in his first few matches with this club. Something that Coach Avery pointed out was that Hovius, it's like a straight shooter in basketball. You just got to see one ball go in the back of the net, and the floodgates open from there. You saw that in the win against the Dayton Dutch Lions when he scored that hat trick, and hopefully it's continuing today as he just scored the first goal for Fort Wayne.
Yeah, it's a thing for strikers, no? Like, probably the most famous striker in the world right now, Cristiano Ronaldo, once said that goals are like ketchup. That sometimes you're struggling to get it out, but once you get it, a lot's coming. So, like, hopefully for him, a lot of many other goals are coming for him.
Already 9th minute in this matchup. This game being started after an hour-long delay. Hard to believe. You look at the pitch conditions right now. You see the sunny skies. That was not the case an hour ago, as we had a torrential downpour here in Fort Wayne. Some of us, okay, myself included, thinking this game might not even be played today, but fortunately, we've got football here in the Summit City and perhaps another scoring chance, but the offsides flag is up.
But you can see, Josh, it's him again. It's Hovius again running behind, breaking the defense. I think he was offside and the call was fair, but like, it's him again giving options and making the defenders chase him. We are going to see him doing this the entire game.
Something to keep in mind too, Luca. We mentioned how we were just hit with rain here. This is a turf field here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. It was a guy that used to play yourself. How does that affect your mindset, just knowing you're playing on a bit more of a slick surface?
Yeah, the game is definitely faster on turf, especially after rain. The turf here is wet now, so like we can see the ball is running so fast. So like the guys gotta have like 100% of their focus on the game, because like if you sleep for 1 second, the ball is over. The ball is with the other team.
Well, against Cleveland, and Fort Wayne FC retains possession. Foul going against Fort Wayne this time, as Mihal, a little too aggressive that time. There's a look at Marco Rimac out of Cleveland Force. One of many Cleveland State University players on this team. You see a lot of Northeast Ohio influence on this roster, and for good reason. Cleveland State's one of the best mid-major men's soccer programs in the country, and you see a lot of Cleveland State talent on this Cleveland roster. Now let's see if Cleveland can try to build up a possession themselves. So far, all Fort Wayne. Played up ahead, but the offsides flag is up. And Ari Briscoe scoops one up.
And this that we are seeing right now on the screen is something that Fort Wayne FC is taking advantage so much on this season. The quality that Thiago Diaz, that Reeds Pro, that Zulia have on the ball, the quality that they have to build up plays is something they're taking advantage over and over again. Just as we could see today, Diaz giving an assist from his position as a CB, playing a long ball for High Hovius. It's not something that's common to see, and Fort Wayne FC is taking advantage of it, because like if the teams sit down and defend in a low block, they have the patience to switch passes between Thiago Diaz, Reeds Pro, Zulia when it's on the field, to attract these players and open the space in behind for the attackers to attack.
See if Fort Wayne has something brewing once again. Takeaway by Cleveland. Fort Wayne able to retain possession. Seth Antwi playing it back to the feet of Reed Sproat. Sproat, one of the hometown heroes for this Fort Wayne FC team. Mihal trying to play it through. A good idea there, but Cleveland able to disrupt the timing just enough. Glorioso is able to boot it away. Now Diaz, Briscoe, and Sproat will build up this attack once again. Luca, you and I were talking before this match, just wondering which of these two possession-heavy teams would be able to impose their style through the first 13 minutes. That's been all Fort Wayne. So we got another chance for Hovius, but Glorioso able to scoop that up once again. Hovius just hovering around the net early in this match.
Yeah, we were expecting a battle between these two teams trying to impose their possession, but Fort Wayne FC is definitely winning this battle. And like I was expecting Cleveland to be a little bit more aggressive defensive-wise. They're placing their defense so low, and it's making things easier for Fort Wayne FC here.
Here comes a chance for Gavin Cesar. That's out of bounds for a Cleveland throw-in. And Anthony Clary will be the one to throw it in. That one played back to Jacob Bergen. Out of bounds once again for a Cleveland throw-in. Throw towards the top of the 18. Good defense that time by Thiago Diaz. And out of bounds, that will be a Fort Wayne throw-in right next to the corner kick flag. Antwi battling for position. That one won by Bergen. Centered in, here comes Cesar. Out on the flank. Crossed in, dangerous chance, and headed away by Jovius.
But we could see in this last minute, Josh, for the first time in the game, Cleveland Force pressing Fort Wayne FC high on the field and causing trouble for Fort Wayne to get out of this pressure, right? Fort Wayne had a throw-in in the hands of Parafita on the left side, and they could not get out of it. And Cleveland had the opportunity to make a cross and then to make a shot. So, like, I think this is the way that Cleveland Force should approach this game. Be a little bit more aggressive, because if they sit, like, and defend low on the field, this game is going to be easy for Fort Wayne with the quality they have to build up and to create chances when the opponent is low on the field.
Wasted chance on that free kick, and Cleveland will rebuild their possession. That'll stay with Cleveland for a throw-in. That looks like Anthony Caleri will be the one to throw it in. Diving slide tackle, and Fort Wayne regains possession. Played ahead, Ice Jovius still on sides. Jovius, one defender to beat, and he kicks it right into the midst of Glorioso. Excellent counter opportunity that time, but Glorioso is a little better.
Well done by Glorioso. Once again, Jovius running in behind, getting the ball, being dangerous. But I think the best option for him was to make a cross and fight set Antwi free inside the box to just step it in. But we can understand the mindset of a striker. He was 1v1 with the keeper, tried to shot, and Glorioso was really well.
Diaz sweeps it into the visitor stands. We've got a Cleveland throw-in deep in Fort Wayne FC territory. Again, it's going to be Caleri making the throw-in. Caleri trying to regather that. Instead, good job by Fort Wayne to corral it. Instead, other side header is over the net. Cole Worthmuller with a great chance on that header, but it sails over the post.
What a cross by Iñaki Moreno, finding the number 9 Cole Worthmiller, free to place this header, and he was inches away to tie everything here.
That just goes to show you the formula that Cleveland used in their draw back in the first leg of this matchup. That Cleveland was able to capitalize best offensively on counters, on quick counterattacks. Got a man down, it looks like Worthmuller. And Worthmuller thankfully able to get back on his feet. So look at head coach Mike Avery of Fort Wayne FC. Pressure by Fort Wayne, but Cleveland is able to power through that. Mihal, scramble through traffic. Karani, still fighting for possession. Through two defenders, and Karani sails that into the sweets. Sean Karani. Give props to him for battling through two defenders on that possession, but unable to corral corral that kick just a little bit.
Yeah, this play deserved a better finish. Like, he did so well, as you said, to fight against two defenders. Flick the ball over the center back. Like, beautiful, beautiful play, beautiful dribble from Korani. But he had to finish better with the left foot and score a golazo here. He was so close to score one of the greatest goals of the season.
Well, I think the honor of the greatest goal of the season, I think that's going to go to Alex Frank and his bicycle kick at the beginning of this season. I mean, you are going to be hard-pressed to find a better strike than that. Maybe we'll get a nice runner-up candidate later throughout this match. Instead, Fort Wayne sitting on that 1-0 lead thanks to an early strike by Heis Hovius. His 4th goal of the season, as we are 20 minutes already into this match. Cross in, Antwi unable to get it, or can he? Antwi, right foot, back of the net! No foul, and Sepp Antwi doubles Fort Wayne's lead. There's that pressure once again, Luca. We mentioned how Fort Wayne doing such a good job to battle through their man, and Seth Antwi delivers. That's his 4th goal this season, and the former University of Dayton striker makes it a 2-0 game.
Yep, 4th goal of the season. In the 4th goal in the last 3 games, the man is on fire. Doing something that we could see Fort Wayne FC doing over and over again in this season too. That's like press just after they lose the ball. So they miss the pass, they lose the ball, and he just after it pressed it, got the ball, was 1v1 with the keeper, and this is a chance he's not going to miss, especially in the moment he's leaving. 4th goal in the last 3 matches. Amazing moment for Seth Antwi and for Fort Wayne FC.
Well, Antwi and Hovius giving the Fort Wayne faithful plenty to cheer about. How about this crowd, Luca? We mentioned we had the weather issues a little over an hour ago, but we've got a good crowd on deck for a Sunday afternoon. You know, bleachers a little bit soggy, but these fans have gotten more than their money's worth so far.
Yeah, and you gotta give credits for these fans that have been with Fort Wayne FC in the last 3 seasons that the team's been on the USL 2. First season, not the best performance, that the team had only 8 points. Last year, the team finishing the season 1 game away from the playoffs, and this season looks like it's Fort Wayne FC season. So like, looks like it's time for the team to give back to these fans that have been so loyal to the team in the past 3 seasons.
Abramson chests that ball down to Briscoe, and it's booted away. So we mentioned how strong Cleveland is offensively, but defensively they've got some holes. Here's Mihov fighting through traffic, and a penalty kick on deck. And Fort Wayne FC with a chance to take a 3-0 commanding lead. We'll see if it's Mihov taking the penalty kick. As of right now, he's setting up at the spot. Glorioso with a busy day already in net for Cleveland Force, and now he's got a penalty kick to wrestle with. It is going to be Mihov taking this. Glorioso standing at the net. Mihov given the all clear. Mihov to the lower 90. And for the 2nd straight week, Alexander Mihov puts one away for Fort Wayne FC. And just like that, it's a 3-0 commanding lead for the Boys in Blue.
Looks like a flashback for Fort Wayne FC fans. Just like the last week against Buffalo, Fort Wayne FC opening 3-0 in the first 25 minutes of the game. Mihov scoring, Seth Entry scoring, like looks like the same. Looks like we are living the same things that we lived last Sunday. So an amazing start of the game for Fort Wayne FC and an amazing start of the season for Mihov, because this guy arrived just some weeks ago. It's his second game for the team and he's played 2 games, he scored twice already.
We mentioned those newcomers, those instant impact guys. Mihov, Solvius, both have scored for Fort Wayne in this match. Fort Wayne FC in full control right now in the 25th minute. I guess if you're a Fort Wayne FC fan, the biggest question right now is just can they sustain this for the last 65 minutes of the match? Right now we've got a free kick for Cleveland. Foul against Cleveland.
And we mentioned on the beginning of this broadcast that it was the challenge between the best attack and the best defense. Cleveland Force entered the game with 22 goals scored and Fort Wayne just tied with them. Now Fort Wayne also have 22 goals scored on this season of the USL2. But the difference that we are seeing here today in the game is definitely the defense. Fort Wayne, a team that's among the best defense in the country, conceded only 3 goals in the season, and Cleveland Force conceded 3 goals today, like in 25 minutes. So this is the gap that's separating the teams on the standings and the gap that's separating the teams today on the field.
Here comes another chance for Fort Wayne FC. Tomas Casas playing that back to Parafita. Sends ahead to Holvius. Cleveland Force backline able to regroup. And Fort Wayne FC resets with a throw-in. Hamley trying to battle back. Fort Wayne will need a reset. So Luca, if you're Cleveland right now, you come in just knowing what's at stake in this match, but you find yourselves down 3-0 in a critical match that could really put you in good position to clinch a playoff spot. You're on that pitch right now. How do you try to recollect yourselves mentally and try to remind yourselves that there's still plenty of game left?
Yeah, it's so hard because you come with a mindset to the game, you prepare your game, you have strategies, and with 27 minutes, everything changes. But the best thing they can do here is think play after play after play. Just keep the calm and try to play for every ball, not get desperate, not get nervous or anything. Just play ball after ball, and maybe they can balance the game.
Remark to the feet of Werthmuller. Sends in, misplayed a bit, but Briscoe is able to scoop that up. You look at the shot quality between these two sides, and Cleveland hasn't even been able to get off a decent look aside from Werthmuller's header earlier in this half. Well, Fort Wayne has been able to create chance after chance. Here comes Holvius, able to separate his defender. And Holvius with a nice thought on that cross. But that one booted away, and Fort Wayne will reset for a throw-in. Actually, offsides, excuse me. See if Cleveland can sustain a possession. That's been a big issue for them in this first half, just like it was a big issue in the first matchup back on May 23rd. Marco Rimac giving chase. But Tom Abramson is able to keep it in play. Briscoe sweeps it away. Jacob Bergen. Now played out wide. Worthmuller on the wings, crossed in, and Briscoe skies for the save. Got a couple of white kits lurking around the top of the 18, but a good job by Briscoe to clear that one away from danger. And now Diaz will sweep that away. Here comes Karani. Now a transition opportunity for Worthmuller. Worthmuller off the foot of a Fort Wayne FC player, and Cleveland Force is going to get their first corner kick of the match. First minute here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Fort Wayne FC looking to lock up a playoff spot with a win. Cleveland Force just trying to get on the board right here. High kick, far side. And that one's safely booted away. Sproat heads that away. Antwi brings it down to the feet of Mihov. Mihov being doubled up, and ooh, some gratuitous physicality right there, but no foul is called. Mike Avery, you're looking for a call.
I mean, I'm not saying that I agree with it, but like this, that the number 4, Jacob Bergen, just did it. It's also a strategy to wake your team up, no? You go hard in a ball, you scream, you do something to try to wake your team up.
Arafita cross in, booted away. Now switching it up, here's Sproat. Sproat, we mentioned, one of the local guys, a graduate of Leo High School.
And you see how comfortable they are in the ball. Like Cleveland was pressing, and it was like 5 Cleveland players pressing against 4 Fort Wayne FC players trying to build up. And Reed Sproat was dribbling, trying to find a pass, like he was not desperate at all.
Cross in, dangerous chance. Frank giving chase now. Frank sends it back. Nice boot by Karani. And another from Casas, but neither of them have enough pace to give Glorioso, to get Glorioso sweating. More than a third of the way through this match at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Fort Wayne FC leading Cleveland Force 3-0. Battle between the top 2 teams in the USL League 2's Valley Division. Hovius loses that challenge. Karani trying to back him up. But a foul is going to be called as Kyle Foltz was able to win possession that time for Cleveland. And Cleveland electing to play it quick. Cesar loses possession. And a foul gets called on Cesar as he was challenging against Reed Sproat. Kind of touched on this earlier, Luca, but the physicality is starting to pick up a bit from the Cleveland side.
Yeah, this is one of the ways you have to try to come back in the game, you know, like challenging every ball, going for every ball. because it's normal for Fort Wayne FC to relax. When you create a 3 goals difference on the score so early on the game, just as they did here, it's normal to relax. So if Cleveland keep going, keep playing hard, they have a chance to balance things on the game.
It looks like Fort Wayne doing a good job of keeping the pressure up in this match. Sproat plays that back to Briscoe, and Fort Wayne will switch things up. Mihal gets that away from traffic. Diaz back to Sproat. Good idea with the through ball. Here comes Karani leaking through, but he is called offsides. Great idea right there. Quick strike opportunity, but Karani mistimed it.
Unlucky, just like half a second offside, like half a second before he ran. Like he should have waited like just a little bit more to receive this amazing pass from Seth Antwi. Great play for Fort Wayne FC, but unfortunately for them, unlucky for them, he was offside.
You just look at the attack from Fort Wayne in this match. It's been almost surgical, clinical. The way they've been able to time these runs, and to think just how little time that these guys have been together. It almost feels like they've been together for months, instead when they've only been together for weeks.
Yeah, this chemistry, this timing on the run, this is something that takes time. And it's so hard to create it, as you mentioned, like in such a small season as the USL2. But these guys were able to create it, and they are flowing on the attack.
Casas lofts it ahead. Jovius trying to jostle for possession, but a foul is called. Rather, the offsides flag is up. Again, another good idea as Jovius was looking for a brace. Instead, that'll be another free kick coming Cleveland's way. Antwi on the counter. He loses possession and a foul is called on Cleveland. Maybe Antwi looking for a little more than just a common foul. Fort Wayne will just play it quick. Starting to press a little more, but Fort Wayne doing a good job so far. Now here comes Moreno, crossed in, Worth Bueller off the post, still loose, and finally over the nets. My goodness, most dangerous chance so far for Cleveland, but Fort Wayne comes away clean.
Yeah, Josh, it takes so much to score against this team. We could see a goal in front of our eyes, but somehow they managed to throw their bodies in the direction of the ball, like to block the shots, and managed to keep this clean sheet so far.
Instead, corner kick number 2 for Cleveland on deck. That one to the far post and over everyone's heads, but going back to that last sequence, you had Worthmuller, Rimac, Moreno, all within striking distance. All of them had a clean look. None of them could get one in the back of the net.
Yeah, Fort Wayne counted a little with the lucky too, because the post was there to save them in the first time. But like for the second and for the third shot, we could see the commitment these guys have on the defense to block the shots, to be there, to not concede any goal, to not give anything to the opponent team. Because the ball was bouncing around and we could see 5-6 guys throwing their bodies in the direction of the ball to close it, to deny a chance for Cleveland Force.
Foul going against Jovius. His So that'll be a Cleveland free kick coming up. Remack trying to jostle for position with Abramson, and that one trickles out of bounds for a Fort Wayne throw-in. Antwi and Kohler challenging for position. It'll stay on this end. Kohler, back heel. Now switching it up as Cesar unable to jostle free from two Fort Wayne defenders. You see Mike Avery now in his third season leading Fort Wayne. And he has really been with this program since the birth.
And something that we have to give to Coach Avery is that like the team is being better and better season after season. So like we can see clearly the improvement from the first game to today, like from the first season to the third season, we can see the team is doing better each time they get on the field.
Without question. Well, here comes Karani for Fort Wayne. Karani playing that ahead to Hovius, still on sides. Hovius waiting for help. That one taken away. A little too much defensive help that time. Minutes to go in this first half, plus stoppage time. It's been all Fort Wayne here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Perhaps another strike for Fort Wayne on deck. Here comes Casas. Casas. And that will be a Cleveland throw-in. Again, another good idea that time, but Casas just a little too much clutter that time and unable to find some help. Quick flick, Mihov, now Casas giving chase. Glorioso is able to dive on it first. Glorioso, he has been busy in this half, probably getting more than he bargained for. Against Fort Wayne FC, but as you saw in that last possession, Hovius, you see the size of the man from the Netherlands, listed at 5'10". It just feels like he's been able to impose his physicality on these guys throughout the match. Maybe a chance for Cleveland, but Moreno sails that one over. Meanwhile, we've got a guy down. That is Diaz for Fort Wayne.
And you talked about Hovius fighting with the defenders, but like he's playing fair. But we could see in this last matchup that he had with the defenders that he got kicked here in front of the bench. So Fort Wayne FC players that are on the bench went crazy with the referee because they didn't do anything. And we mentioned it earlier that like a way for Cleveland Force to balance things in the game is to play hard, is to be aggressive, but it must be in a fair way. It must be fair play. Not playing dirty, not throwing elbows, not doing this kind of stuff. And like we could see Fort Wayne FC players complaining with the referee about it, and probably what Coach Mike Avery said with the fourth referee here on the side of the field was something on these ends.
Thankfully, Diaz is able to get back on his feet. As we approach the end of the first half, plus stoppage time. Diaz, a man from Portugal, plays college soccer over at the University of Albany, so a bit of a distance from here in Fort Wayne. guys that are off to the bench getting a bit of a hydration break. Weather's starting to heat back up after it was a lot cooler during that storm system that hovered over Fort Wayne about 90 minutes ago. The official telling Briscoe that's a goal kick, not a free kick. But Briscoe in no rush to get this one away. See how much added time we get. Probably a minute or two at most. Instead, we're going to get 3 minutes of added time.
We have 3 minutes of stoppage time.
Let's see if Fort Wayne can add to the scoreboard one more time before the end of the half. Sproat sends that out of bounds for a Cleveland throw-in. Rimac was trying to get a quick throw-in, but instead, official tells him you got to back up a bit. So now it's going to be Kolar taking that throw-in. Here comes Daniel Lacerda with the captain's armband. Takeaway for Fort Wayne FC. Here comes another counter opportunity. Quick strike. Nice chance, but a bit wide of the post. Nice opportunity right there for Parafita. He was just a few inches away from giving Fort Wayne their 4th goal of the night. Kolar over to Rimac. Lays it ahead at the top of the box, and we've got a foul call. Just outside the 18. So, an interesting opportunity coming up for Cleveland State. This is probably going to be the final chance that Cleveland has to crack the scoreboard before the halftime whistle.
Yeah, they got a little bit better in the game. After the 3rd goal, they tried to make things simple, try to pass the ball a little bit more, keep the ball, avoid chances for Fort Wayne FC, and they were able to do that to balance the game. And this is a chance for them to finish the first half in a much better scenario than it painted for them after the 30 minutes.
Rimac will be the one to take the free kick. Rimac sends that one over. We'll see if the official blows the whistle. Nope, we'll just play this out just a little bit longer, but Rimac, that kick not really having any serious danger. There's your halftime whistle. So everything that could go right for Fort Wayne did. The boys in blue with a commanding 3-0 lead through the first 45. We'll see if Fort Wayne can keep it up and lock themselves up a playoff spot for the first time in club history. We'll recap the first half after this. In the meantime, we'll be right back in a matter of moments. You're watching USL League 2 Soccer on 11 Sports. Mic check. There we go. Nil lead against Cleveland Force. And here's a look at how all of this unfolded, starting as early as the 6th minute. In a matter of moments, you're going to see Heis Hovius pick up his 4th goal in a Fort Wayne FC jersey. Meanwhile, minutes later, Seth Antwi would double that lead with a strike in the 20th minute, and then it's all capped off by Alexander Mihoff with a penalty kick. My partner, Luca Moda. Luca, just outstanding half overall from Fort Wayne. Just what'd you like from the guys?
And yeah, while we can see the videos, the scenes of the first half, like the video says by itself. Like we can see like why Fort Wayne FC left the field for the halftime break with a 3-0 on the scoreboard. Like the team created so many chances and was able to finish 3 of them, to put 3 of them on the back of the net. Well deserved for Fort Wayne FC to score 3 goals and not concede anything to Cleveland Force in this first half.
That was a look at Antwi's goal, but you mentioned not conceding anything defensively. Fort Wayne hasn't, but just an excellent job overall by that unit. Cleveland did have a couple of dangerous chances. One header by Cole Workmuller. You did have 3 guys lurking around the 6-yard box for one possible strike, but aside from that, Fort Wayne has been lights out on the defensive side too.
Yeah, Cleveland had some couple chances to score, but as we mentioned here, like Fort Wayne is so solid defensively. It's so hard. It takes so much to score a goal on this team. And even when Cleveland had chances, had opportunities to score, the Fort Wayne goalkeeper, Auri Briscoe, was there, Reed Sprout was there, Parafito was there, sliding tackle, doing everything it takes to block the balls. And when they were not able to block these balls, the post denied a chance for Cleveland Force. So it takes so much to score against Fort Wayne FC, and they showed us once again how solid they are defensively.
We mentioned what's at stake in this match. Fort Wayne looking to essentially lock up their first playoff bid in club history, just their 3rd season in club history, and they're certainly well on their way to that. Luca, you look at the second half. What else can Fort Wayne do to basically put away any sort of momentum that Cleveland could build in this half?
Yeah, I think a good example for Fort Wayne FC to follow is what they just did last weekend against Buffalo here, where they also scored 3 goals in the first half and had a 3-0 starting the second half, and they kept the ball, avoided any counterattack chances to Buffalo, and kept creating chances. So like this is the formula they have to keep for this game. Keep playing, keep keeping the ball, keep playing offensively, trying to score more goals, denying spaces for Cleveland Force. So this is the way they gotta play in the second half to not give any chance for Cleveland Force to come back, to bounce back on this game.
Second half just minutes away, and we'll have that action for you right here on 11 Sports. In the meantime, we'll be back in just a matter of moments. with 4 apiece.
Yeah, this advantage on the score is something that helps Coach Avery to put back players that are coming back from injuries, or Sulia that's coming back from the national team, to give chances to new players. It's something that helps Coach to manage the squad and give minutes to different players. And you mentioned about Sebastian Chabot. Let's remember that when he stepped out from the team, he was the leading scorer with 4 goals and responsible for 55% of the goals the team scored, scoring 4 and assisting 1. So like, he was probably the most important player in the first weeks of the USL2, had to step up, and the team did really well to keep the momentum, to keep the quality of the performances without him. But still, amazing news for Coach Avery and for Fort Wayne to have this guy back.
Good to see Alex Frank back on his feet after being taken down to the turf for a minute. Here comes Cleveland on the counter, though. Victor Gonzalez, Marco Rimac. And a yellow card presented to Frank. First booking of the match for either side. Rather, that's going to be on Casas.
And to be honest, Josh, I don't think it was deserved. For me, it was all ball. All ball. Fair tackle from Thomas Casas, but the referee gave the yellow card for him. And he's a player that plays as a defensive midfielder. So Thomas Casas must be careful in the second half, because he's playing 45 minutes with this yellow card.
Well, the play has been generally physical between both sides, and for the most part, the officials have let it play out, but I guess that's an adjustment from the officiating side. Free kick. Lacerda trying to fight through 2 defenders, and Briscoe skies over a man to make the save. And the clean sheet streak remains intact. 450 minutes and counting now for Fort Wayne, as we've got another foul against Fort Wayne. That time the foul going to go against Casas once again. He's got to be careful, especially after picking up that yellow.
Yeah, it's a position that's very hard to play with a yellow card, because you are vulnerable. Like, you gotta go, you gotta dive for these tackles all the time. So he gotta be very, very careful to play with this yellow card.
Rimac will once again take the free kick. This time plays it to the far post, over the outstretched leg of Lacerda. Not a bad idea, but Lacerda having to extend every inch of his body just to make some contact, but he comes up empty.
You see, Josh, a different behavior from the Cleveland Force team in the second half, pressing higher on the field, conceding less space for Fort Wayne, and making things harder for Fort Wayne FC.
Chip ahead, here comes Casas. And he is down on the turf along with Alex Frank. Casas is still down, and Mike Avery is beside himself right now.
Josh, the referees gotta take control of the game. If they don't take control of the game, the players are going to do that. You see Casas very frustrated, saying many things in Spanish for the referees, but like, they gotta control the game. They're not controlling the game, and the Cleveland Force players are starting to play dirty. So if we don't want to see trouble here, if we don't want to see red cards and dirty plays, the referee better take control of the game right now.
Both the fourth official and the center official huddle with players from both sides right now. And it looks like it's going to be a free kick for Fort Wayne. Players from both sides still trying to talk this out. Mentioned the physicality the physicality ramping up just a little bit. And if you're Cleveland, it's kind of justified. You know, you come in just knowing this is a huge match, trying to help your playoff positioning. But this outcome is going the exact opposite of what they intended. And as a result, they're a bit frustrated right now. Here comes Abramson. Nice placement, but headed away by Cleveland. Cesar gets tapped a little bit, and that's going to be a foul against Fort Wayne. Perete. Haven't really called his name too much tonight. As we mentioned in the first half, he leads Cleveland in goals scored with 5. In fact, one of the top goal scorers across all of USL 2.
But Josh, it's so hard to score or to create something offensively when your team is playing so low as they were playing in the first half. So like Perete was playing behind the 2 defenders almost. Here we go.
Karani tripped up from behind, but he's not going to get a call, and it'll be a goal kick.
So he was playing so low, helping the 2 center backs. So like he was so far from the offensive side of the field, so he was not able to create anything out of this game so far. But like now that Cleveland have more the ball, they are playing more, like they are playing higher on the field. We gotta keep an eye on this guy because he's somebody that have the quality to create something for Cleveland. And once again, the referee gotta take control of the game because both teams are frustrated with him, both teams complaining on every call, and this is not going to end up well if they don't take control of the game.
Still got 35 minutes of this match to sort out. A long way to go, and you just hope that players from both sides can just keep their emotions in check. Nice idea. Jovius trying to play that to the feet of Antwi, but Antwi doesn't get a good first touch. Sproat with time. Gives that back to Diaz. Up ahead to Karani, but Karani believe he was offsides. And Antwi goes down, clutching his right foot. Or the back of his leg, maybe his ankle. But thankfully, Antwi able to get back on his feet quickly. So free kick coming Fort Wayne FC's way. Casas plays it out wide to Parafita. Parafita can't battle through traffic. And we'll see who the foul is against, but meanwhile we've got players down for both sides. And now we've got a yellow card presented to Cleveland. So now a booking each way in this second half. So that yellow card presented to Kyle Folds. So Folds and Casa both booked in the second half. And we play on. Frank able to win possession. And we've got more guys down on the pitch again. Mihov and Antwi. Mihov taking a second to get up. Meanwhile, Frank, how many times has Frank been down on the pitch this half?
Yeah, things are getting heat here, and like this is something like it's not going to be beneficial for any of the teams on the field. So like guys gotta come down and like play. Like there's nothing else they can do other than play soccer, try to be the best they can do on the field, and try to score goals, to create chances. Like this is the only way they are going to change things and to do great for their team. But like kicking other players, like putting other players in dangers, is something that's not going to be beneficial for them, never.
Mihov loses possession, and Kolar will throw it in for Cleveland. Coming the other way. It was Caleri with a nice chance, but that one's swept away by Fort Wayne FC. And Caleri will throw it in. Back to Moreno. Good defense that time by Karani. Now we got our first substitutions of the game, both for Fort Wayne FC. As Gavin Cesar... Excuse me, not Gavin Cesar. Henry Kumwenda and Tavio de Almeida are about to come in. So Kumwenda will come in for Karani. And De Almeida, you see on screen, enters the game. He will be subbing out. Looks like he is subbing out Casas. And especially with Fort Wayne having a 3-0 lead right now, you kind of want to get some of those other guys who maybe haven't had as much run at this stage of the game. Try to keep the guys fresh. Again, we point out the fact that the USL 2 season, it is a sprint, a 2-month sprint. 12 games in a span of weeks, not to mention some friendlies sprinkled in between. As quickly as these guys have come together, this season is already heading down the home stretch. Abramson plays it out wide to Mihov. De Almeida back to Sprout.
And the decision to have fresh legs and to take Casas out of the game was wise from Coach Avery. Don't take me wrong, Casas is one of my favorite players on this team, but he was playing with a yellow card. The things were getting hit, and like we can see by the frustration that he stepped out of the field, like he was willing, like I know the feeling that he's having right now, but like he was willing to give back to these Cleveland Forces players that kicked him something back. So like it was the wise decision for Coach Avery to put him out of the game, give him some time to like have a fresh air, like calm his mind, and not lose any player on this game.
Here comes Cleveland on the counter. Perete with a strike, but that one sails over everybody. Cole Perete let one rip with his right foot, but Cleveland remains scoreless in this match. We mentioned Perete, the leading goal scorer for this Cleveland team. You see the frustration, the body language of these guys. Just absolute frustration from this Cleveland side. 2/3 of the way here at Bishop Darcy Stadium, and Fort Wayne remains in front 3-0. Cesar, now Perete, out on the flank, trying to cross that in, but Abramson does a good job of wrestling that away. Abramson, off the foot of Moreno, and that will be a Fort Wayne FC throw-in. Good defense by that back line.
Amazing defensive job from Tom Abrahamson, dealing really well with the number 10, Marco Reimach, defending really well, and after he got the ball, he was pressured by two guys, dribbled Marco, and kicked the ball, used the Cleveland Forces player body to get a throw-in. Amazing defensively job by Tom Abrahamson.
So now we've got our first substitution for Cleveland Force as Marco Valentic will come in. Valentic, one of the key players from this crew, according to head coach Blake New. Valentic coming off the bench and out of the match, I should say, is Iñaki Moreno. Let's see if Valentic can inject some life to this Cleveland side. Nice rip. Briscoe punches one away. And the shutout streak continues for Fort Wayne FC. Corner kick incoming, though. Got white shirts stacked up by the far post. It's played to that far post. But Sproat looks like he was able to get his head to it first. Instead, it'll be a throw-in now for Kolar in Cleveland. Actually, now make that Caleri taking the throw-in. Ball finally headed away. Still trying to get its way out of traffic. And Kumwenda going to get nicked with the handball. Looks like Valentic will be the one taking this free kick. Also got Bergen lurking. Valentic, this kick sailing over everyone nearly into the sweets. Even on chances, Luca, where Cleveland has been able to set themselves up for a set piece, none of them have really been challenging for Briscoe so far.
Yeah, as you said, like these chances that they have, like these opportunities they have to send players to Fort Wayne FC box, to make a good cross, to have maybe a corner kick, like these are golden chances for Cleveland Force since they are not being able to create. So like when they have these chances, like the players have to be very careful and treat these chances as gold. But like unfortunately for them, they did not like take many things out of the chances that they had from set pieces.
So Briscoe scoops this one up. So we're already in the 66th minute of this match. You kind of have to wonder too, Luca, as you look at this Cleveland Force side, you know, as the minutes tick down and the more that this result starts to settle in against Cleveland, you kind of have to wonder too, okay, we got to at least get on the board, because you look at the table right now. Cleveland and Toledo are neck in neck in the standings. Toledo has played one less match than Cleveland. By default, Cleveland has is higher in the standings by 1 point. And if this thing comes down to the wire, or if these two teams are tied in the standings, goal differential could be a factor. And right now, Cleveland's goal differential is going to take a huge dent right now.
Yeah, Cleveland Force entered on this game looking up, like trying to cut this difference that they had between them and Fort Wayne FC on the standings. But like looks now, they gotta start looking down and pay attention to Toledo Villa that's coming. And as you mentioned, have one game in hand to play, one more game in hand to play compared to Cleveland Force. So like, looks like now their fight on the table is going to be against Toledo Villa to see who is going to take this second spot for the playoffs.
Here comes Kumwenda, played ahead for Jovius. Dangerous chance, but Glorioso gets to it first. Heis Jovius, this close to earning a brace.
Well done by Glorioso. As you mentioned, Heis Jovius was so close to score his second goal in the game, and Fort Wayne FC fourth goal in the game, but Glorioso was so smart to get off his line and go on the feet of Jovius to get this ball.
As we mentioned, what's at stake, Fort Wayne can lock up their first playoff spot in club history, as looks like Worthmuller is down on the pitch, clutching his left knee. And a yellow card presented to Fort Wayne FC.
Josh, with all respect, the referees lost on the game. Like, we had tackles that were much heavier, like much harder than this, and he didn't even give a fall. And now on this tackle, in a normal tackle, a normal fall, he gave a yellow card for Tavio de Almeida. So, like, I don't know where his mind is.
I believe that yellow card goes against Antway. Now Franck looking to lead a counter for Fort Wayne. Antway able to keep possession. De Almeida playing it wide. Here comes De Almeida once again. Kumwenda off the bench. Back to De Almeida. Back flick. Abramson crosses in. Kumwenda cross back. Strike. And that one just goes wide. Seth Antway was this close to earning a brace himself. Great buildup of that possession, but Fort Wayne comes up empty again.
Great build-up from Fort Wayne FC, but amazing from Glorioso to deny a goal for Fort Wayne. It was a goal, like it was a clear goal. We could see it hitting the back of the net, but Glorioso coming out of nowhere to make the save. What a fantastic save from Glorioso to save Cleveland Force to concede this fourth goal on the mat.
As we said, Glorioso has had his hands full in this match, and while he's going to shoulder much of the blame for this result, he has had some incredible saves in this match so far. Mihov trying to keep that ball in play. Instead, Cleveland trying to build back possession. And now we've got our second substitution for Cleveland, as Josip Rimac is coming in. He'll be taking out Caleri. So Rimac, who is transferring to Cleveland State, joining Joseph is at Cleveland State right now. Marco is transferring to Cleveland State. Joseph subbing in his college teammate, Caleri. So we mentioned lots of Cleveland State Vikings on this fourth squad. Sprout sweeps that away, and a throw-in incoming for Cleveland. Marco Rimac lets one rip, but that one misses everything again. Again, you see the frustration from Rimac, some of these other Cleveland players. Just not the result they were hoping for today, and as we've got less than 20 minutes to go in this match, it is becoming more and more clear that Fort Wayne is going to come away with another win. De Almeida switching up, instead that sails over everybody. Antwi. Back to De Almeida. Hovius tries to back heel that to Mihov. And here comes Cleveland State. Nice chance up ahead. But Porrete unable to take control, and Cleveland State has to reset. Cross in to the boot of De Almeida. Now here comes Fort Wayne on a possible counter. Good job by Foltz keeping that inbounds. And Front gets tripped up. Official rules play on. Cross in. Sproat heads that away. Bergen tries to send that in through traffic. De Almeida shrugs off the attackers. And here comes another chance for Cleveland. That one goes through the uprights, just not the right part of the goal right there. Thinking the other sports, the other football.
And we can note that in the second half, the intensity of the game decreased a little. Fort Wayne trying to control things more, like not being very offensive on this moment, but just trying to kill time with the ball in their feet, just trying to make the time pass and guarantee these 3 points that's going to clinch a position in the playoffs for them.
74th minute at Bishop Darcy Stadium, and Fort Wayne FC closing in on their first playoff ticket in club history. Incredible where this program has come in less than 3 seasons. You had a front row seat to that yourself, Luca. I mean, that first season, lots of growing pains. The second season, lots of promise, but ultimately Fort Wayne falling short of punching that second and final playoff spot in the division. And this season, Fort Wayne FC has more than kicked the doors down.
Yeah, the club struggled a little in the first season. Like, everything was so new, like new players, new coach, new staff, a new club. And in the second season, they did a little bit better. And this season looks like it's Fort Wayne FC season. Like, they are being so dominant. They are controlling the Valley Division. And this team deserves great things on this season by the way they are playing, by how constant, about how solid they are being defensively and offensively.
Abramson tripped up from behind, and that's going to be another booking, this time on Marco Rimac. So the yellow cards starting to pile up for both sides, now 2 apiece, all within this second half.
Yeah, this is where the referee comes on the game. Like, it's a red card. This play is a red card. It's a slight tackle from the back. Like, he didn't aim to get the ball. He was just aiming to hurt the other player. So, like, it's a red card. Things are calm. Things are controlled. But, like, he gave a yellow card, and all Fort Wayne players are mad with him, frustrated, because, like, clearly it's a red card.
Parafita. Play back to Antwi. De Almeida keeps that inbounds. Rimac, he was just booked. And he gets the throw in. Now this will be a free kick after some jostling along the touchline. So all 3 of Fort Wayne's goals coming in this first half. I guess you could kind of say that Fort Wayne has taken their foot off the gas, but they still have been able to create a couple of nice chances in this half. Still in danger. Perete can't quite track that ball down, and it'll be another goal kick. Rather, that was Werthmuller who was trying to track that down.
It's something natural. Like, every coach, everything's going to relax a little when you score 3 goals so fast. Like, when you basically guarantee virtually the win, like, it's natural for you to slow down a little, to relax a little. And, like, you gotta keep going, you gotta keep playing, but, like, it's hard to keep your mind with the same level of focus the entire game after you created such a great advantage in the first half.
Mihov, he scored in the first half on a penalty kick. Still on sides. Holvius chips it ahead. Atlee going after it. And my goodness, Glorioso basically trampled over as the offsides flag is up. You had Antwi and Kumwenda charging in, and Glorioso still down on the pitch. It was like you saw both Kumwenda and Antwi see. It was like you could see the target. They were both just trying to trying to race one another, and instead neither could come up with a goal.
Yeah, and we mentioned here a couple of times, but like even though Cleveland is losing 3-0 here, it's not Glorioso's fault. Like this guy made some amazing saves in this game, but 3 times he was not able to save Cleveland.
So here is a sight for sore eyes if you're a Fort Wayne FC fan. Sebastian Schalba getting ready to check in for the first time in weeks. He'll be taking over for Alexander Mihov. And Schalba, we mentioned, battling an injury the last couple of weeks that have sidelined him. Schalba, excellent start to the season for him. He's actually tied for the team lead in goals with 4, along with an assist. So Schalba starting to get himself back to full strength. D'Almeida sweeps that away from Werthmuller. So we've got just over 10 minutes left in this match. Fun night for Fort Wayne FC fans. They've had to wait a little bit after some rain, but you take a look now. Just partly cloudy. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better night to enjoy some Fort Wayne FC soccer.
Yeah, these players made the wait worth, right? They had to wait 1 hour, but they are being able to watch a great game, great soccer game.
And as we take a look at what's on deck for Fort Wayne FC, quick turnaround once again. They had the last week off heading into tonight's match against Cleveland Force, but they've got, what, a 2-day turnaround before they've got to take on the Dayton Dutch Lions for the 3rd time this season. First time they played, that was a scoreless draw back on June 6th. Just over a week later, Fort Wayne FC won that one convincing fashion 4-0. They will play for the 3rd time again in the 3rd to last USL League 2 matchup for Fort Wayne FC. Meanwhile, Cleveland Force, they're going to have the week off before they host the, they go to the Dayton Dutch Lions. That is on July 1st. They've also got a date with FC Buffalo, who is towards the bottom of that division table. But then they wrap up the season against Toledo Vila FC, and that match, obviously there's still some other matchups still in play, but that one could very well decide who punches that second and final playoff spot in the division.
Yeah, if things continue going on the way they have been going, this match is going to look like a final, looks like a battle, because both teams are going to be there fighting for one spot, only one spot, and it's definitely a match to keep an eye on.
Briscoe playing well away from his post. And D'Almeida chips it ahead. Maybe a chance for Abramson and Fort Wayne. 3-on-3, the fast break. Kumwenda can't get to it as it's swept away. It appears by Kolar.
Once again, well done by Heis Hovius, showing that he's not only a striker, not only somebody that can score goals, give goals for his team, but also somebody that's very intelligent to drag the defender, to bring the defender up, open the space on his back, and play somebody to play. He dragged the defender from Cleveland Force with one touch, placed the ball to Tom Abrahamson that had the entire field to attack.
Abramson to take the corner. Far post, almost an own goal! Oh my goodness! That might have gone in! No own goal. Instead, Glorioso saves almost a disastrous goal that time. You take a look right there, and it looked like the ball entirely crossed the plane. Instead, the officials say it did not, and we play on. But my goodness, Glorioso inches away from giving up the fourth goal of the night.
And we gotta give credits to number 4, to Jacob Bergen, that saved Cleveland Force with the block on the line, like off the line. He was there when Glorioso was beaten, and he blocked it. The ball bounced on him, and Glorioso was there once again. What a night for Glorioso. Even though he conceded 3 goals, we gotta keep repeating this. Like, he saved Cleveland Force here on this game over and over again, like 5-6 times that he made incredible saves.
You said it. Instead, the score remains 3-0. It could have very easily been 5, maybe 6-0.
Yep.
And we've still got 6 minutes in stoppage time in this match. Worthmuller plays it back to Bergen. Let's see if Cleveland can crack the scoreboard. Right now, Fort Wayne FC trying to keep the shutout streak intact. 4 matches and counting. The last time they conceded a goal was back on May 27th. That was a 2-1 win at Toledo Villa FC. In fact, Fort Wayne just crushing it defensively all season. One of the best defensive units in all of USL2, conceding just 3 regular season goals all season. Cisak tried to let one rip. Instead, this one skies over nearly everyone. Hovia still giving chase. And now here comes Parafita. Last touch by Marco Rimac. It'll be a Fort Wayne FC throw-in. And we've got another substitution now for Cleveland as Jackson Irvin checks in for David Kolar. So Kolar, the Olmsted Falls, Ohio native, his day is done as Irvin, the rising junior at Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, is coming in. Played ahead, Franck! Can't get to it. Glorioso lost control, and it stays with Fort Wayne FC. Here comes Perete in transition. Kumwenda back to Antwi. That one off the official. And we're going to stop play. The rare time we're going to see a drop ball. Final minutes of this game, just less than 4 minutes to go, plus stoppage time. As Alexandre Franck will take a seat. Franck, his night is done as Rodolfo Sulia will come into the game. Franck had a couple of nice chances. Almost adding to his goal tally. Still sitting on just 1 goal this season, and it was a beauty. Back in the season opener, a 1-0 win over King's Hammer. What do you think, Luca? You were talking about a potential goal of the year candidate. Do any of these 3 strikes match up to Frenchie's goal in the season opener?
Oh, it's going to be hard to score a goal that can compete with these bicycle kick game winner that Alexander Frank scored in the first week.
You could even make a case that it could be goal of the year across all of USL too. I mean, how often do you see something like that?
Yeah, I know it was a finish that like he was so fortunate to think about it and be able to do it because like the difference between think about it and actually do it, actually complete the finish is there. So like he was so happy when he thought about it and he was so skillful to execute it like in the perfect way.
So still waiting on what the final word will be as far as stoppage time. But as long as this result holds, Fort Wayne FC about to improve to 7-0-2 in Valley Division play. Still undefeated through 9 of 12 regular season matches, while Cleveland Force is about to fall to 3-3-3. This isn't a dagger to Cleveland's playoff hopes, but certainly a missed opportunity tonight. Good attempt, and Briscoe preserves the clean sheet. Nice strike that time. Looked like Folds was the one who let one rip from the back line. But Cleveland State running out of time to crack the scoreboard, avoid being shut out. They've not been shut out all season. And what a testament that would be, Luca. We talked at the top of this broadcast that Cleveland has been the best offensive team all season. Coming into the night, 22 goals. And that would be a testament to Fort Wayne FC, to Briscoe and that back line for keeping the best attacking squad in check all night.
Yeah, it was the hardest challenge they had so far in the USL2 this year. And the team handled it really well. Like, 9th game of the season, Fort Wayne is leaving the field without conceding any goal for the 7th time. As you mentioned, the team did not concede a single goal in the last 4 matches. With this one, it's going to be the 5th match that they enter the field and leave the field without concede any goal in sequence. This is more than 400 minutes without concede any goal. So like the team is being very solid defensively and deserves all the good things that they are building because they are being solid, they are being consistent, and they are playing good football.
3 minutes of added time. Less than 3 minutes until Fort Wayne FC can officially say they are heading to the playoffs. Gumwenda cross in, and Jovius adds some insurance. A brace for Heis Jovius. And that is the cherry on top to what has been about as perfect of a night as you could draw up for the boys in blue.
The cherry on top for Fort Wayne FC. Heis Jovius is scoring his 5th goal of the season, going up on the leaders, on the top scorers, leaders of the USL2, and like Fort Wayne FC showing that this team has the hunger, because like it's 3-0 and they keep attacking, they keep looking for goals, they keep attacking and hurting the opponent. 4-0. Back-to-back 4-0 in front of their fans to clinch their spot in the playoff. What a night for Fort Wayne FC.
And what a cross too by Kumwenda, getting credited with his first assist this season. And we're less than 2 minutes away from Fort Wayne FC being able to claim that they have won 3 matches with a 4-0 margin. Just outstanding work, especially in recent weeks. Really felt like from the opening kick that Fort Wayne was able to play the game on their terms. That early strike from Jovius to open the scoring, that what would eventually be the game-winning goal, just set the tone for what would be a dominant night. Really a showcase night for this Fort Wayne FC squad.
and something that's becoming normal, right? We've been here watching these games, like working on these games, and we see Fort Wayne FC putting clinics, putting performances that could be like studied by other teams back to back to back. Like every game they enter on the field and they do something that like other teams should look and take as an example, and that this team should look and take as example for forward games, like for the games that they have in the future. So amazing performance for Fort Wayne. They could not be living a better moment.
Final seconds at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Offsides flag is up. Glorioso coming out of his post for potentially the last free kick of the match. Maybe one last chance from Cleveland right here. Cesar out wide. Rimac lets one rip, and Briscoe swoops it in. And that is full time at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Third straight match that Fort Wayne FC has won 4-0. And Fort Wayne FC has punched their ticket to the USL League 2 playoffs. First time in club history. A dominant performance all night, Luca. We mentioned from the opening kick. And Fort Wayne FC leaving no doubt in this match, as they are now up to 23 points in the table, a commanding lead, and I believe with one more win can clinch the Valley Division.
Nothing but deserved. The teams entered on the field today with 9 points between them, separating them on the stands, and Fort Wayne FC showed throughout the 90 minutes on the field why there is this separation between them on the stands. 4-0, well deserved, being better throughout all the entire 90 minutes and deserving to get this 4-0 win and clinch their spot for the playoffs.
So we're waiting for the second half highlights. Luca, let's just get your thoughts. Just how impressed were you with Fort Wayne FC's performance tonight?
The first 30 minutes were impressive, really, really impressive, like high level of soccer. Fort Wayne being able to score 3 goals in the first 25 minutes of the game. So they just like got business done, got the job done in the first 25 minutes. And then they were able to control the pace of the game, keep more the ball, have longer possessions, and control the game, waste time with the ball in their feet. In the second half, they were able to finish it with the cherry on top for this win, with the second goal that Heis Hovios scored on the game to finish everything and clinch their spots to the playoffs.
As we mentioned, with Fort Wayne FC holding Cleveland to a shutout. First time all season that Cleveland Force has been shut out. They did have a couple of chances, but I would argue that their most dangerous chances came in the first half. A lot of credit going to this Fort Wayne FC squad. And Coach Avery mentioned this too when we had a chance to talk with him yesterday. The best defense from this team has been keeping the ball away from the opponent. And there you see just all that work paying off with them just being so dominant with their possession. This strike right here, thanks from Henry Kumwenda, allowing Heis Hovius to score his second goal of the night. But that is going to be it from here tonight. But just a quick reminder, next match coming up for Fort Wayne FC is this Wednesday, June 28th, the third to last match of the regular season for Fort Wayne FC. They'll be taking on the Dayton Dutch Lions for the third time this season. Certainly going to be another fun night here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Hopefully not another rain delay too. But Luca, it's been fun calling a game with you, my friend.
Yeah, Josh, it was incredible to share this moment here with you and to be able to work with a game with this level. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I see you guys in the next game.
Without question, once again, final score from Bishop Darcy Stadium, 4-0, Fort Wayne FC punching their ticket to the USL League 2 playoffs for the first time in club history. This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League.